thy servant Bertrand Lazare, the body of whom lies here before us today, should in the next world find that joy and happiness which has so sadly forsaken him in this. And that when the final accounting is made, his stewardship will not be found wanting. Rather that his credit be worthy and good, so that he may join thee and thy angels in life everlasting. Now if the congregation will rise.
Good morning.
Bring me my spear, oh clouds unfold. Bring me my chariot of fire. I will not cease from mental fight, nor shall my sword sleep in my hand till we have built
I don't think we've...
Cassidy. Harry Cassidy.
Yes, of course, Harry Cassidy. I didn't know whether my letter would find you. Thank you for coming, Harry. Bertie would have been so pleased to see you here.
I imagine the departed was not what one might call a very popular gentleman.
He had his detractors.
Which would account for the rather disappointing turnout.
People have such short memories.
Many churches, you know, still refuse consecrated ground to a man who takes his own life.
Even when it's a first offense.
Suicide victims aren't generally renowned as being persistent offenders. Still, we refuse no one at St. Jude's. Not even a man who could commit suicide in a brothel without having actually paid for the services provided.
Despite the end, Bertie Lazare was, you know, an extraordinary and wonderful man.
As well as being a thief and a liar.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too. But the angels in heaven better watch it, or Bertie will have the golden wings off their shoulders by bedtime.
Look, I don't know who you are, lovey, but Bertie Lazare
was also the master himself.
I see you two have met already. This is just what Bertie would have wanted. Buchanan and Cassidy, he'd say, they're real artists. Pity I never got them together. Now here you are when it's too late.
You're Guy Buchanan. Amazing. I expected a younger man.
Well, if you're Harry Cassidy, I thought you was still in jail.
I heard you retired from the profession. The wits went, didn't they?
That's right, the wits went, the style went, and yobs like you took over.
It must have been a dreadful shock for you.
Fleur thought he was sleeping, didn't you, Fleur? He looked so peaceful lying there without his toupee.
There's no peace like God's peace.
Amen.
It was very good of you to go to so much trouble, Eva. When a man has no family.
But we were his family, the girls and me. Fleur was like a daughter to him. Look, we're having a few drinks down the road. Would you, I wonder...
Lovely.
You too, Guy. Oh, come on, Bertie would have expected it. Come on, I insist.
May God bless all of you.
Well, I only hope the bastard's happy now, Fleur.
Bertie wasn't a bastard. Not all the time.
No, the man who killed Bertie.
What? Somebody killed Bertie?
As good as. Hounded him to his grave, stole his home. Eva used to say that Parsons is a real barracuda.
Somebody Parsons stole Bertie's home.
Not somebody Parsons, Terry Parsons. He wanted to turn it into a new studio to make TV commercials and pop videos. So goodbye, Bertie. That was why Bertie killed himself. Sorry, I thought everyone knew.
But how could anybody as bright as Bertie be cheated out of their home by some spiv with a baggy shirt and designer acne?
Parsons isn't a spiv. He's worth a fortune. Chairman of Chandler, Taylor and Parsons. He advises the government.
Sounds to me like the man got it right first time.
Do you remember Bertie's lovely old warehouse by the river in Chelsea? Well, Parsons bought the lease and gave him notice. Bertie said he was the sitting tenant, but Parsons said if he didn't go, the police would hear some very interesting things.
Blackmailed out of his home.
Perhaps it was better when the sleeping pills took care of everything.
What a terrible end for a man who conned princes.
Listen, I don't know if it's of any interest, but before Bertie went, he asked me to look after some plans he had. He didn't want anyone else to see them, not even Eva, he said.
What kind of plans would these have been?
I don't know, really. Something about stinging Terry Parsons, he used to say.
Always dreaming of getting even. Poor Bertie.
These plans? You have them, do you?
Yes, they're in my locker in the salon.
What's a cheap little con like you want with poor Bertie's plans?
Just curious.
Perhaps you'd like to look at them, too.
Well,
Oh, why don't you? Just for old time's sake. You've never been to the salon before, have you?
I don't suppose they're of any value now.
Typical Bertie. Maps, photographs, timetables. Nothing left to chance.
He said this was going to be his big one.
What he really lacked at the end were top-flight operators. He'd always say, Eva, it's no use having the best scam in the world if you don't have the operators to pull it off.
This was a two-man, two-woman job, wasn't it?
it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
If Parsons can find that sort of money.
Did you ever know Bertie get his facts wrong?
Yes. Right. Holly. Room 3, my love.
Oh, well. Don't suppose they're of use to anyone now.
Well, in that case, perhaps you wouldn't mind if I took care of them for sentimental reasons.
I'm sentimental too, Buchanan. Perhaps I should take care of them.
Okay, what's this? Squabbling over Bertie's plans to get back at Terry Parsons? And you retired, Guy.
Well, perhaps not completely retired.
To a flat in Mayfair, isn't it? Very smart.
However did a loser like you come to afford a place in Mayfair?
I'm a loser. Who's just got out of jail?
A complete misunderstanding.
Neither of you are losers. No wonder Bertie never managed to get the two of you together as partners.
I'd rather go into partnership with Alibaba's 40 thieves. Partnerships need trust. I could never trust him.
All this from a man who tried to sell the Vatican, St. Bernadette's last breath in a Beaujolais bottle.
Come on now, let's not fall out on the day we buried Bertie. Excuse me, I'm looking for Mr. Buchanan's flat. You wouldn't happen to know what floor he's on, would you?
Sorry, dear, it's my first day. Why don't you talk to the porter? He might be able to help.
Excuse me. I'm looking for...
I've never found it very easy to admit when things aren't going terribly well.
So isn't it about time you made some real money?
How?
By teaming up with Cassidy to help Fleur and me get revenge on Parsons.
Eva, I may be poor and I may be crooked. Temporarily, I might even be a failure. But I'm not cheap. And everything I've heard about Harry Cassidy is. Besides, I've never worked in a partnership. I'm a lone wolf. Indian or China?
Indian. With Caster, you could make a lot of money.
Yes, that too.
Fleur doesn't expect much. A few thousand and she'd be happy.
But Cassidy?
I'm sure we could work something out between us. We might at least explore the possibilities.
We'll need a float, 30,000 at least.
We'll make it 20, which I'll provide. I'll be the banker.
A lot of backup documentation.
You know, Guy, you're really a very attractive man.
Milk or lemon?
It was psycho, to be honest. You remember Tony Perkins when he showed Janet Leigh his stuffed birds in the motel? So, I thought to myself, yep, that's what I want. But you know, a dead bird is just a dead bird, and they look terrible moth-eaten after a while. So I graduated to live ones. The nice thing about parrots is they talk to you.
What do they say to you?
Oh, well, this yellow Amazonian here, on a good day, he'd tell me he could have been a contender. I call him Bud. After Bud Schulberg.
What about this one?
Well, that one there's got a problem. He thinks he's Vivian Leigh. You know, tomorrow is another day. You haven't told me what you're doing here yet.
Do I need a reason?
Sadly.
I want you to make friends with Buchanan.
I think I'd do better with a half-starved polar bear. I don't like the man. He's a pompous ass. Swollen on his own pride.
Where to do this Parsons scam? We need you and him working together.
Thinking of entering the profession, are you?
You said yourself the plans were brilliant. Besides which, £500,000 is a lot of money to split 2 ways.
2 ways? Isn't that just a little bit dishonest?
It's very dishonest.
Would you like perhaps to see the rest of the place? I have a really interesting signed photograph of Fay Ray in the arms of King Kong himself. In the bedroom. Terry Parsons, chairman of one of the largest TV commercials producing companies in Europe. Personal income of nearly $1 million a year. Father was a lighterman on the Thames. Parsons himself travels by riverboats once a month when he goes to the city for the board meetings of Hanley and Weitz Investments, his original backers. In commercials world, has a reputation for doing under-the-counter deals on the side for cash.
Sounds like a healthy case of terminal greed, all right. You and he should get on very well.
May God wither your bones, Buchanan.
Once a crumpeteer and amateur adulterer, he is now married for a second time to the appalling Flicker Parsons.
Part-time model, failed Channel 4 presenter, and full-time shopper.
Famous for being famous, only models now if she can keep the clothes. And £150,000 last year making personal appearances.
Who in the name of God would pay money to look at her?
You know, if it wasn't for the fact I was stuck with you, Cassidy, I might almost enjoy having a go at those 2 reptiles. Let's go to work.
You wouldn't be Billy Wilson by any chance, would you? A friend of mine, Bertie Lazar, thought you might be able to help me.
What do you want doing?
Can you fake me an Irish government mineral survey?
Very expensive.
£2,000.
3, and no questions asked.
Done.
What exactly do you want to find? It'll never work.
I think it might.
If you want to lease an estate rather than to buy, Ireland has to be the place.
And the people are so much friendlier.
Gosh, yes. Was there any particular part of Ireland?
Well,
Because I know for a fact. Ah, here we are. Tipperary.
Loch Derg, Tipperary. That's a pretty place, they tell me.
Absolutely beautiful.
What about this? Coney set in 10,000 acres of the finest Irish countryside.
Oh, yes, Coney Borough. Beautiful. The owners live in America, I believe, but there's an estate manager in the house.
Coney I rather like the sound of that. Would you mind if I kept this and came back to you later about a viewing?
What do you mean there's no risk? There's always a risk when I work with you.
Not this time, Inky, I swear. Even if everything goes wrong, there's no way this character can do anything about it.
You mean he's dishonest too?
Let's just say he's in advertising. Coney-borough. That's the name of the place. We'll need a selling brochure for the Coney-borough estate. That's 10,000 acres of arable land, woodland, lakes, whatever else you can think of, as well as the legal documents for its transfer to Coney-borough hotels in the Bahamas.
Anything else?
Documentation setting up Coney-borough hotels, split into 5 equal parts of £500,000 each. A banker's draft for 2.5 million Irish punts, drawn on the London and Bogota Bank of South America. Listen, you'll find all the details in there.
The London and Bogota?
A monument to discretion in the banking world, Inky.
Right. That's 15 quid for the portrait, 4 grand for the paperwork. Cash.
Do you not think you could have made me look a little bit more like Paul Newman?
The art of the con is to convince the other chap that you're doing him a favor. He has to believe in you. Think you're his friend. That's when you con him.
Bertie knew what he was doing when he chose Parsons as the mark. Because he's greedy. And his wife is even greedier. 2 people who want something for nothing, and who are not afraid to bend the rules to get what they want.
Tomorrow, Cassidy will hire the cars. Eva, you start arranging Ireland. And Fleur, you look like the perfect girl Friday.
Change that valve in. Walter?
It's a silver spirit. Don't mind how you go.
Well done, well done. You're learning.
Pouncing, Greg, patronizing brat.
It's the poxy local authority. They won't give me planning permission for the jacuzzi, the sun deck, or the orangery.
Why not?
I don't know. It's a listed bloody Georgian building or something.
Will you get it?
Will I get it? Too right, I will.
Mate, you can't leave that there.
No, of course not. Quite right. Oh, Harry, could you send somebody over to Chelsea Harbour at once to pick up the rolls? It's going to cause an obstruction. And make sure that Fleur's waiting at London Bridge. I'm in a hurry. Thank you. beautiful, isn't it? The lifeblood of London.
Yeah, and it's taken for granted.
Oh, completely. Now look at those chaps over there. What a wonderful life they must have. They're not bothered by traffic jams or fumes.
Too true. You know, the river's been used as a means of transport since before Roman times.
Really?
You know that Handel's water music was first performed on the Thames in 1717 for George I.
You know, you almost sound like a tourist guide.
My name is Terry Parsons. The Terry Parsons Company. I make commercials.
Ah, indeed you do. Indeed you do.
Okay, they're coming. Good luck.
I was particularly impressed with your series on Marzi loafers. Absolutely first class.
Oh, yeah, well, that kind of product, it's not exactly dubious, but it's not the Nobel Prize for toffees either, you know. What you've got to try and do is sort of sneak round the blind side, sort of get round the back of the consumer's prejudices, you know what I mean?
Oh, indeed, indeed. Well, it's such a tricky world you're in. It's so capricious. Life's much more straightforward in my line, believe me.
You didn't say. What is your line?
Making money. As the chap said in the film, information is everything. That and having the right business partners. But we're going your way. Why don't we drop you on the corner?
Nassau want a quick decision on Coney Borough. The word is the Irish government are going to put forward the survey date till Friday.
Oh, that's a bit soon. Oh, sorry about this. It's a tricky one. What about Dublin? Are we any nearer confirming what we think we know?
There's a chap called Cassidy who might be helpful. The Irish Department of Energy.
Not quite as much fun as the advertising industry, perhaps, but the rewards are infinite clear.
Coney Borough.
Ah, careless talk costs.
Oh, yeah, sure. Don't worry about me. You're not free tonight, are you, by any chance?
I'm sorry?
It's just that I've got this new place down by the river. We're having a sort of christening do, and I wondered if you might be able to make it. You too.
Well, I suppose we might be able to move the Japanese. I can't promise.
I'll do my best.
Good.
Not a bad start. He'd win a goal for boring, but I think he's interesting.
I said, what do you mean? I work bloody hard. I deserve everything I deserve everything I can get. Nobody helped me get where I am. I did it myself.
Oh, hang on a minute. Now, somebody I really want to speak to. Flo, I was afraid you weren't going to make it. A tiny snagger was something rather brilliant.
Sorry.
No, it's just that, well, I suppose trying to help an old pal is sometimes more trouble than it's worth. Nobody ever says thank you. Thank you.
He's not coming in then?
No, it needs too much time to raise it. Time we haven't got. Oh, sorry, we're being annoying.
No.
It's just so maddening to have to bring the banks in when we've always planned it as a private venture amongst chums. Besides, the banks have too many rules for my liking. Isn't that the famous Flicker? What a lovely girl.
Yeah, well, I think so. And that's our lawyer, Graham Siegel. Listen, I kind of been curious about this. A tiny snag, private venture. What
Ah, well.
No, you're absolutely right. None of my business.
Hello. You're a lawyer, are you?
Yes.
I wonder, would it be terribly cheeky to ask for a smidgen of free advice about my neighbour's Great Dane?
I'm sorry about that. I seemed a bit nosy.
Don't be silly. It's just that we're not quite doing this according to the book. Nothing illegal. Shall we just say that we know a little bit more than we ought to, which has led us into a very interesting project. But we have to move quickly, like this week.
Ah, I see.
And it's not all that easy to find chaps with the right sort of liquidity at a moment's notice. Anyway, fabulous place you can have.
Yeah, you should have seen it before. A warehouse with a terrible old conman called Bertie Lazar as a sit-in tenant. Absolutely determined to put the brakes firmly on the wheels of progress, you know?
Nobody gets rich with the brakes on.
No, too true, too true. Listen, I hope you don't think I'm too inquisitive when I ask, what sort of figures are you talking about here?
Well, I'm in for one. My two partners have another. And Humphrey, he's a ditherer. His share is another $500,000.
What, 2.5 million? Pounds or dollars?
No, you are a nosy one, aren't you? Punts, actually. Irish pounds.
Yeah.
Well, if you really want to know, we're going to buy a prime chunk of Tipperary. But it has to be before Friday.
Hitch is absolutely brilliant. I think it's really going to work. Parsons is desperate for Buchanan to take him to Ireland. Buchanan's humming and hawing and saying he'll have to talk to his partners.
Does he know what he expects to find there?
Not yet. Buchanan's making him do all the running.
When we get this money, you'll give up the work, won't you?
Won't you?
You know, that wife of his, Flicker, she's so unremittingly obnoxious. So vulgar, so shallow. I almost feel sorry for the chap.
Will she be coming to Ireland too?
Without his wife, the Thane of Glamis would have been a contented man. Flicker will push Parsons into it. All we have to worry about is that they don't go blabbing to that lawyer of theirs. Is everything ready?
Everything.
Waiting for us, Mr. Buchanan. Listen, the only time Cassidy can see you is at 7 this evening, so I've arranged with the estate manager to view Coney Borough this afternoon.
Almost a pity we're not buying it for real.
They didn't want to check with Dublin.
If you're convincing enough, they won't. Just remember Barbara Stanwyck and double indemnity.
Hello, Eva Sanderson, Steed Hollins and Fawkes, London office. Is Mr. O'Keefe in?
Yes, will you come this way, please?
No, we didn't get your message, but never mind. You're here now. How can I help you?
I think it's more a case of how you can help Mr. Cassidy.
I'm looking for a place to come to for the weekends. For the fishing, the hunting, and the horses. I'd really like to see the estate, if I may.
You're a sporting man then, are you?
Well, I was once, and will be again now that I can afford it. Thank you.
Would you mind awfully if I stayed here? A couple of my colleagues are in the area, and I asked them to meet me here.
Of course. Make yourself at home. Would you like me to ask Mrs. Donovan to bring you in some tea?
Oh, no, thank you.
I'll see you later then.
All right, I give up. 10,000 acres of arable farmland in Southern Ireland is all very well if you're into the green grass of home, but that's not why you're putting £2.5 million into it.
For some time, the Irish government have suspected that Tipperary is sitting on a small but extremely valuable oil field. Now, they've had new surveys done at new depths, and according to our sources, the results are extremely favorable.
Oil.
Oil?
Yes, it's not Texan or Saudi or even North Sea, but it's oil nonetheless. The Coney estate is sitting smack in the middle of it.
And the present owners?
Have no idea. Do you think they'd want to sell it if they did?
Oil?
Oh, does it pose any problems?
Are you kidding?
Good man.
Hello. Welcome to Coney Borough. Did you have a nice flight?
Thank you, yes. May I introduce my colleagues, Mr. and Mrs. Parsons?
How do you do?
Hi. Mrs. Sanderson is the agent and lawyer for the Coney estate. You remember Fleur, of course.
That'll be all right, Mrs. Donovan. Come inside.
You sure you wouldn't like to take a look around the house?
Ah, not today. I'll leave that to the wife, I think. What about down there? Could we have a look down there, do you think?
Oh, sure. But there's nothing to see but cows.
And you'd like to bring forward the completion date to tomorrow now, you say?
If it's not inconvenient. As you know, being a lawyer myself saves time at our end.
Well, there'll be no delay here, I can assure you. The finance is in place, I assume.
Oh, yes.
You have plans for Coney Borough, I take it?
As a hotel, a getaway from it all retreat for tired European businessmen.
Ah, yes. Well, good luck. You're on television, aren't you?
Well, not at this exact moment. Nice fireplace, that, isn't it, Tim?
Oh, yeah.
It's an Adam.
It looks terrific in Lots Road.
So much for your help.
The wife will get in touch with you direct. Thank you.
Bye now.
What on earth is going on, Mr. O'Keefe?
Can you imagine it, Till? Oil bubbling up from the peat, everywhere you look, pumping away night and day, like a direct pipeline to the bank.
Now, the fellow we're looking for is an old friend of mine, with keys to every door in the Ministry of Energy.
Harry, how are you? Come inside, the coast is clear.
You can probably see now why this whole operation has been so hush-hush. If the people at Coney knew what they were sitting on, we'd have a new Klondike.
This bloke that we're going to see now.
He's by reputation a slightly bent civil servant. You have a sweetener, Flo? Cassidy. Guy Buchanan. I was told that...
Come in, come in. Everyone else should have gone home, but you can never be too careful. Well, what can I do for you?
I was told that for a consideration, you might be prepared to temporarily leave your office while the exploratory survey for Tipperary lay open on your desk.
What you're suggesting is highly irregular.
What I'm suggesting is £10,000, Mr. Cassidy.
10,000. You realize this might get me sacked, or worse.
Yes, but 10,000 it is. No more, no less. Take it or leave it.
You have 10 minutes.
10 grand.
Yes, a fortune to a chap like him, and hopefully well worth it to us too. Oh.
Considerable gas and petroleum deposits in an area once thought unlikely at a depth now considered to be commercially exploitable.
We were right. Tipperary's oil rich.
We're rich, Till.
If all goes well, I got a plan for tomorrow. Just you and me, a fast plane to the Bahamas and Buchanan with empty pockets.
I've seen that movie too.
This isn't a movie, Fleur. This is our life together. I better get back.
Harry, the money. Eva asked me to keep an eye on it. It is hers.
Old habits, I suppose.
Well, Humphrey's going to be kicking himself for the rest of his life that he missed this one.
He who hesitates, eh?
Right.
Now, whatever happens, we have to be absolutely certain that not a word of this leaks out before tomorrow. Not another soul must know.
Apart from Graham, of course.
Graham?
Graham Siegel. He's my lawyer.
Well, perhaps, Graham, is he...
If you tell Graham, it'll be all over Finchley in an hour.
What?
Well, it's hardly fair, Flick.
Now, look, please. If you have doubts, tell me now. And I'll find someone else. I can't risk this thing falling down at the stage.
We've no doubts. We're in, Guy. £500,000, first thing tomorrow morning, in Irish punts.
Yeah, there's no chance of the Irish government getting wind of this, is there?
Well, who's going to tell them?
Well, these people from Coney-Borough reversing the sale.
On what grounds? We know as much as they do.
I've always wondered what it was like to be really seriously rich.
Right, I've arranged for the contracts to be exchanged here tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Mrs. Anderson's doing it herself, is she?
She'll be driving up from Tipperary at dawn. She's so keen.
Oh. What about you, Terry? I shall need a banker's draft from you.
As soon as the bank's open tomorrow morning.
Oh, and could you make it out of the Coney-Borough Hotel Company? And remember, not a word.
Do I look like the sort of bloke that'd give up a fortune? I'll see you tomorrow.
No.
Good night.
Quite frankly, old cock, that's exactly what you look like.
Hey, we better check they don't have second thoughts and call their lawyers.
You are a quick learner. Hello, Basil. Guy Buchanan. How are you? Oh, dear. Look, could you do me a little favor? 50 quid. Could you find me the private home number of a lawyer called Graham Siegel? Lives in Finchley, I believe. And then block it until after 10 tomorrow morning. Could you do that? Okay, 100. Good man.
The time to con Buchanan will be immediately after the cash is handed over. He'd be so pleased to be off his guard.
Don't you think you'd be better off in a partnership? I mean, the two of you are so brilliant together.
Are you kidding? With him puffed up like a Protestant pastry all the time. It's you and me from now on. Did anyone ever tell you look a little bit like Carol Lombard?
Bertie would have been so pleased with you and Cassidy. You've proved him right.
Well, not quite right. I've planned a nice little sting in the tail for pal Cassidy that Bertie never dreamt up.
And I always thought that Bertie thought of everything.
Did he think about you and me?
Good luck tomorrow.
Would you be a fault on the line? What kind of fault? All right, don't get smart with me, darling. I know you're not an engineer. But I've been trying all night. Yeah, I'm sorry, too.
I told you not to bother.
Well, he's me lawyer, Flicks. I ought to let him know about these things.
You really are pathetic, Tel. It's about time you started making decisions on your own. What about that fireplace? Let's go and get it tomorrow.
What?
After you've signed. Let's nip back down there and rip it out before Buchanan or one of the others beats us to it.
Well, it's a bit hasty, that, isn't it, Flicks?
You gotta be hasty in this world. Nobody's gonna do you no favours.
Well, if that's what you want, Flicks.
Yes? We wondered where you'd got to. Is everything all right?
Yeah, I had a bit of running round to do. People don't like doing things on the spur of the moment anymore.
Nice to see you again.
Right, let's see. I think we've got everything we need. Flower.
Yes. Right, now, there's a small amount of paperwork for Mr. Parsons to complete on Conyborough Hotels. Then there's the banker's draft. Then there's exchange and completion with Mrs. Sanderson.
So we'd better get going.
That's hot off the presses.
Banker's draft for £500,000 Irish pounds.
Now, you need one from me for...
2.5 million.
cheap at twice the price.
Well, I hope Conyborough Hotels is a great success.
Thank you. Thank you for all your help in the negotiations. Everything went perfectly.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, I suppose we'd all better be getting back to London. No rest for the wicked.
Flicks and I were going to stay on here in Dublin for a couple of days.
Ah, that's nice. It's very nice.
Do a bit of shopping.
Ah.
So we'll see you when we get back, all right? Okay. Oh, and by the way, don't lose that banker's draft, will you?
Absolutely no chance of that, sweetheart.
None at all.
As banker, I think I'll take care of that.
Yes, and I think we should go before those two are onto us.
Is the problem?
I don't know, but the sooner we cash that banker's draft, the better.
It's a pity Bertie didn't choose a bank with a branch in Dublin.
He probably had his reasons.
I'll pay the bill.
Yeah, I hope Buchanan's not going to get all ratty about us taking this fireplace.
So what if he does? They'll be in the studio before I can complain about it.
Can I help you?
Yeah, we're the new owners, and we've come to take away the fireplace.
The new what?
Conyborough Hotels. We're with Guy Buchanan. We bought the place this morning.
I'm sorry, there must be some mistake. Coneyburgh is not for sale.
No, you don't understand. We bought the place this morning.
Young man, I understand perfectly well. Coneyburgh cannot be bought or sold without my say-so. I am legally in charge here. Now, do you understand? You do not own Coneyburgh.
What about the oil? We've seen the survey.
Oil. Oil in Tipperary. Now, wouldn't that be something?
£500,000. £500,000. I've got to use the phone.
Oil in Tipperary.
There, that's my job as banker finished.
Which you've been terrific.
Well, there's no need for us all to go in. It looks as though we don't trust each other. Fleur and I will wait and hold the taxi.
Yes, well, if you don't mind.
If you don't mind, I'll be coming in.
Of course you will.
We made arrangements to cash a banker's order for $500,000 here today.
In sterling.
That's absolutely right. The money's in 50s, is that right?
Perfect.
If I might just see the banker's draft.
Oh, sorry. Of course.
Today isn't April the 1st, is it, by any chance?
Sorry.
What?
Well, this banker's draft, it's scarcely even a forgery. It's a joke.
A joke?
But it can't be.
Look here.
What the hell are you up to, Buchanan?
You see it. This isn't it. This isn't the one that Parsons gave me. You little cheat, what have you done?
What have I done with it? You are the after it.
Gentlemen, please. Perhaps if you knew who these signatures were.
Eva Sanderson.
And Fleur.
Taxi!
Taxi!
Sorry, you've missed them. They've gone away.
Did they say where to?
Or when they'll be back?
Could be months. I'll be looking after the shop while Eva's away. So if you need anything.
I don't suppose they mentioned anything about a banker's draft.
Or Coneyburgh.
Or Tipperary.
Or anything.
They were in a hurry. In and out they were. Bertie was waiting in the car for them.
Bertie?
Bertie Lazar. I thought you knew him.
Bertie's dead.
He didn't look very dead to me. Not last night, either.
Oh, no, there's no priest here other than me.
But we met him. There was a funeral.
All very mystifying it was. There I was, called away on a wild goose chase to a man supposed to be dying in the hospital. And when I got back, I found a brand new grave. Wreaths and flowers, and a generous contribution in the poor box. You were right. There had been a funeral. The only thing was, the coffin was empty. Other than for this.
Dear Guy and Harry, thanks for all your help. I could never have got Parsons without you two. He knows me too well. Sorry I can't share the money with you, but that's the nature of the game we're in. Good luck, Bertie.
P.S. I always knew you'd make a winning team.
Bertie
Plan the whole thing.
We've been conned.